Okay, so what I feared happened. My phone ran out of memory again. And so here's part 2 of the video about finite games and infinite games. I'm probably gonna upload them separately because I just can't be bothered for some reason to go in and edit and put those two videos together and just make it one file and shit. So anyway, um, yeah. So playing finite games which end in a destination. I got the championship. I sold my business. You know, whatever. I reached Japan. Oh, by the way, I forgot my intro. Hello, everybody. It's part 2, so I gotta do the intro again. Hello, everybody. It's Aman again, your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur living in Tokyo, Japan, as of now. And as I walk along, I'm gonna show you stuff around Tokyo at night because that's just how I am. But anyway, coming back to part 2 of this video. When you're playing finite games, alright, there's a car. One thing that I've noticed about Tokyo, which is different from any other city I've been to in the whole world, is that people seem a little obsessed about cars. First of all, I've walked around many kinds of neighborhoods, right? And everybody has really nice cars in Tokyo. Like every street you walk, you'll find people owning like German, like a lot of Mercedes, a lot of Lexus. What's the plural of Lexus? Is it Lexuses? Or what is it? I don't know. And all the cars in Tokyo are really clean. Like people keep their cars super clean here. Like a lot of things, I think Japan in general is very clean, and their cars are especially strikingly clean. And I find that really impressive. But anyway, coming back to the topic, when you're playing finite games, it's fun to say I did this instead of saying I am doing this, which is what an infinite game means, right? And in an infinite game, you just want to keep playing. You just want to keep doing it. It's like, I'm a podcast. Infinite games are more like your identity, I'm a podcaster. I'm a writer. I am an entrepreneur, whatever, right? It's not like, oh, I'm a writer. Well, that's an infinite game. I'm writing the great novel, whatever, and publishing it, Now that's a finite game, right? Being a writer is an infinite game. Writing a great book is a finite game. Because after writing that one book, you'll be like, well, I reached my goal. Okay, now what? Well, I'm a writer. I'll just write. But it doesn't happen that way. A lot of people confuse. I've been this way, by the way. A lot of people forget the fact that they are a writer. I'm just taking an example of writing. People forget the infinite game because they get so fixated on the finite game, the short-term goal that they have, right? And I've been guilty of being so intense in the past on my short-term goals, on my finite games, that life can become quite miserable every single day that you're not at your destination already, It's like being on a bus and just you can't wait for are we there yet? How far is it so far? Why is it taking so long? Why are we not there yet, right? That is a miserable way to travel. If, on the other hand, another person who's also a traveler is more like, oh, I just like traveling. I just like moving around. I'm going to enjoy the scenes from the bus, I'm just going to be having fun. I'm going to talk to the person next to me. If they're not weird, I'm just going to, chill. This is great. I'm on vacation. I'm just enjoying myself, That's an infinite game. And the person who's like, I got to get to Rome. When are we getting there? I got to see the pyramids. The pyramids are not in Rome, but like, whatever. I got to see the fucking Colosseum, right? And one thing about being a creative, being an entrepreneur, and playing infinite games, or playing finite games against infinite games, is that you don't give compound interest to work for you when you're playing a finite game. So here's an example. If you're a podcaster, right, and you're just trying to play a finite game, like I want to be a top 1% podcaster or whatever, right? First of all, you might realize that it takes longer than you thought it would, and you give up, so you never reach your goal. But on the other hand, if you were just like, let's say that's not your goal, like the top 1% podcaster, right? Let's say your goal is more like, I want to, make money off of podcasting. I don't know, what could be a goal, like 100K subscribers, whatever, I don't know, right? Or it could be like, whatever, okay, I took a bad example. Let me change it to... Okay, let's... Fuck it. Let's stay with the example, right? Podcasting. Are we still recording? Alright, we're still recording. Podcasting. You start and then you crank out episodes, right? And they're like, wow, yeah, I became a podcaster. I have a bunch of episodes, whatever. This happened to me, by the way, which is why it was kind of uncomfortable to talk about podcasting, because I gave up. I didn't give up, I just abandoned my podcast. It's coming back though. It's coming back very soon. The Eccentric CEO podcast. I had one more podcast, called The Age of AI, and that one, I'm still not sure what I want to do with it. So, I haven't found the infinite game that I want to play. Like both of those podcasts, I started based on a finite game. It wasn't that I enjoyed, like it wasn't that I set out to be a podcaster. I set out to be like, oh, I think I can do this podcasting thing. Let me see if that helps me network, or that helps me get clients for my last business or whatever, It was more like a finite game that I was playing, because I had, coincidentally heard on a podcast that podcasts are really good for, prospecting and shit like that, basically, right? And I saw it as a means to an end, instead of the end in itself, to be a podcaster. Now, at least for the Eccentric CEO, it's not a finite game anymore. The finite game is over. Like I did like 20 episodes, got one billionaire, got a couple of famous people on there, but that was it. I was just through. I ran out of gas with the finite game, and I was just starting to get people drawn in. People were just starting to take notice, and I never let that compound interest roll. If I had been doing the podcast consistently for the last 2.5 years that I haven't been doing it, I would be in a totally different place. Like imagine how many episodes, how many more connections with people, how many more opportunities, how many more, people like yourselves who might have discovered me, my podcast or whatever, how much useful I could have been to the world if I had just kept playing the game, So that's another, drawback of playing finite games versus infinite games. And as I've gotten older, everything from my fitness to my business to my hobbies, my judo journey is one great example. In the beginning, my goal was just black belt, black belt in 1 year at the Kodokan, right? And I was showing up 6 days a week. They only train 6 days a week, right? And I was showing up every single day for months, not a single break for months. I was the only guy at the Kodokan, right? I was the only guy at the Kodokan that they'd kind of ever seen who never took a day off, right? The senseis, they've been there for decades, right? Some of those senseis. And they were like, whoa, Aman, you're coming every day, dude. Like, I mean, they said it in Japanese, but like, it was surprising enough to them, people who've been coaching there at the mecca of judo for decades, that there would be a guy, Indian guy, some whatever, in his 30s who would show up every single day for months, right? But in the end, I got injured. I talked about it in a blog post. I didn't talk about my judo journey on YouTube, but I got injured. The worst thing that could have happened, and I've been taking time off from judo since. Yeah. By the way, let me show you a vending machine and what they've got here. They always have ads on vending machines, and this is actually very famous, this black coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't know what it tastes like. It's probably like regular black coffee. But yeah, all this is the good old unhealthy stuff. You basically put your money in, and when you put money in, these are going to turn on, like all these are going to turn off, and some of the ones that you put enough money in for will turn on. So all of these will turn off, and if you put 200 yen, for example, if you put 100 yen, okay, there's nothing for 100 yen. If you put 120 yen, for example, then all of these would turn on, all of the rest would turn off, right? And then you would be able to just click a button here like that. Oh, actually, I clicked it by mistake, but I'm not going to pay, right? Whatever. So that's one way to do it, but you can also just put money in first, and then you choose the one that you want, whatever. Anyway, that's Kingdom, by the way. That's one of my favorite anime series. I just happened to notice this just now, or whatever. Are we still recording? Okay, thank God, we're still recording. Yeah, physical training is one area where I recently had a wake up moment. I stopped training super hard and low reps, and I've regressed back to the basics, right? And I've decided that I'm just going to keep working out for the next 50 years, and I'll give myself years to rebuild my strength. And this is probably a topic for another video about athletic foundation and what I've learned so far about the fitness journey, right? But anyway, that's I hope this gave you some food for thought, like what games are you playing in life, right? And how many of those are infinite games, good infinite games, not like, oh, I just don't have anything going on, I just show up to work, whatever, and I go back home and I was gonna say something derogatory, like, but whatever. So you go back home and you do stuff, and then you show up again to work again, and then all your spare time you're spending on watching reality TV, and whatever. I'm just not gonna go there. But yeah, are you playing a finite game? Are you just obsessed with the result? Or are you playing an infinite game where you're going to be enjoying it for years to come, right? That's the video. Bye.